Hey guys, how's it going? This is Jay once again with a quick tutorial. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the process of creating your very own cloud Linux server on Linode. Now, Linode is a sponsor of my channel, but they're a sponsor of my channel because I really do love their service. It's actually what powers all of my infrastructure. So they actually were a great fit as a sponsor for the channel, and I'm happy to have them. I wanted to create this video to show you guys the process of creating your own Linux server, not only to show you the process and how easy it is, but also to have a video to point you guys back to so I don't have to repeat the process in future tutorials where I use Linode. I could basically just make a mention to this video and then point you guys back here anytime I want to outline that process. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the video. So here on my browser, I have a very special URL. If you go to this URL, you will actually get $20 in credit towards your new Linode account. This is a sponsored link, but you do get $20 in credit, so depending on how long you keep your Linode around, you may not have to pay anything unless you use it beyond the $20 credit. To get started, you simply click Deploy My Linode Server, and then you simply fill out these three fields to create your account. So you set up a username, set your email address, create a password, and then click Continue. Now in my case, I already have an account, so I'm not going to go through the entire process, but you get the idea. So here we are at the Cloud Manager dashboard. This is where you will go to create your Linodes, to maintain them, to manage them, delete them, whatever it is you have to do. All you have to do is simply click on the blue Create button. In my case, I need a Linode for a tutorial I'm about to record that's going to require footage of CentOS. Since I don't currently have any CentOS instances, I'm going to create my instance here on Linode to use for that video. So I'm going to show you the process of creating a CentOS instance, but the process is the same regardless of which distribution you want to go with. You just simply start by clicking Create. We want to create a Linode. And here is where we get to configure our very own Linode instance. First of all, we have to choose a distribution. So you can see that there are plenty of options here, including Arch Linux. Linode is one of the few that actually offer Arch as an option when setting up your Linux server. You also have older images that you can choose. So for example, if you want LTS, Ubuntu 1904 is not LTS. Then you simply scroll down and choose Ubuntu 1804 down here. You can also go here to one-click, and you'll see that there are actually one-click apps that you can deploy. So we have Minecraft, we have WordPress, all kinds of things here. So if what you want to deploy on Linode is already on this list, then you can simply choose it to get that pre-configured for yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and choose a distribution. And again, I want to create a CentOS instance. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to scroll down. Next, you choose your region for your instance. So basically what you want to do is create your instance in the region that is closest to you or closest to your customer base. So if you are serving customers in Toronto, Canada here, then you would simply choose that option. If your company is based in Europe, there's options for that here. But if you're simply setting up a server for yourself, you just choose whichever option is closest to you. And even though I'm in the United States, I'm pretty sure that Toronto is actually the closest one to me, so that's the one that I'm going to choose. Scrolling down, we then choose our Linode plan. You can see that we have different instance types here, each with different costs. We have a 2 gigabyte instance right here, so that's 2 gigabytes of RAM. That's one CPU, 50 gigabytes of storage, as you see here. And it goes all the way up to this monster right here. Look at this guy, 192 gigabytes of RAM for $960 a month. So if you are owning a company, for example, and you have a really big online presence, then this is probably something you'd want to choose, but probably above and beyond what we want to achieve here. And to do one better, this one here is $10 a month. We can go to Nanode here, and then we could simply choose this one here for $5 a month, which is the one that I'm going to choose. There's other options as well. We have dedicated CPU, as you can see here. We have high memory instances, so we could even go up to 300 gigabytes of RAM, for example. And then we even have instances with a GPU. That is awesome. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Linode, which is the $5 a month instance. That should be all I need for recording my tutorial video. Next, we're going to give it a label. I'm going to leave it as the default. The default is just the distribution name and then the region. That's good enough for me, but you should give yours a descriptive name for whatever it is that it's built for. For example, you could call it WordPress, web server, whatever it is you want. I'll let you be creative on that, and you can also create a tag as well. Next, you're going to create a root password, so I'll just go ahead and do that right now. This is just a test instance for me, so I'm going to be deleting it here pretty soon, so I really don't care about it. But I highly recommend that you choose a very strong password. I'm just going to be using a simple password because I'm only going to be using it for a few minutes before I delete it. You can also add SSH keys. That's beyond the scope of this video, but if you already have an SSH key, you can add that here, so that way it's going to be in the instance as soon as it comes online. Scrolling down. Optionally, we can choose backups. That's a good idea if the instance that you're creating is going to do something important. If you're just creating a simple test instance, then you probably don't want to select that because it adds another $2 a month here. But if it's a production instance that you actually care about, I mean, $2 a month isn't really that big of a deal, so I would just highly recommend that you select that. But since this is a test instance, I'm not going to do that in my case. Now with everything filled out, we simply click Create. You can see the progress up here at the top. So at this point, our instance should be online, and we'll see the IP address for that instance here, and then we could click on this icon to go ahead and copy the IP address so that we can connect to it. So at this point, you're going to need a terminal to connect to your instance. If you're on Windows, you can use something like PuTTY. If you're on Mac OS, you have a terminal built in. The same if you're using Linux. Linux also has a terminal built in. Pretty much every distribution does. And you just go ahead and open up that terminal, and we will use SSH to connect to our new Linode instance. So here on my terminal, I'm going to go ahead and connect to the new instance. So I'll do SSH, root, at, and then the IP address that we were given by Linode in the dashboard. Press enter, type yes, and then the password, and we should be good to go. From here, we can actually use any Linux command that we want. It's up and running, and we're good to go. So there you go, guys. That was my video on creating a Linode instance. It's a quick and easy process. So you could create your own Linode instance, like I said, for either creating your own web server, following along with my tutorials, whatever it is that you need to accomplish, you could do that on Linode. So I hope that was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in future tutorials that I'm in the process of editing right now. Thanks for checking out my video. I really appreciate it. If you found it useful, click that like button, and if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe so you'll see the latest content as soon as it becomes available. If you want to help me out, there's links down below for my Patreon page, as well as links for purchasing my Linux books, and also my affiliate store, which has a listing of Linux-compatible hardware that I've actually tested personally. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.